That's a lovely
T-shirt.
Funny you should say that.
I've legitimately never seen you wearing that shirt before.
Please don't spin this into a I've got no merino, well, you've got it all. Is that what you're doing? I can feel you setting something up.
Can you feel that guilt coming off him?
I can feel you setting something up.
Can you feel how that guilt's manifesting itself?
Because I've spent all week on Uncensored, I feel like I'm being set up already. And maybe now I'm being paranoid. But I feel like you're playing this is a long setup about not having any T-shirts.
Not at all. I was just saying I've not seen that shirt before.
Well, it's one of the 14 I've got. Have you only got 2?
I don't even need to say anything. He rats himself out, you see.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
He's got a wardrobe.
Maybe you could enter the competition we've got going.
Who's got a competition?
So we are sponsored by Unbound Merino today. Hence why we're in our beautiful Unbound Merino wool garments. And they are putting a competition on for the Conor versus Dustin card. So we will put the link below in the description, and there is the chance to win 10 $100 gift cards to use at the shop, at the Unbound Merino shop, which is pretty cool. All you have to do is pick the winner and have a stab at how they win. I think there's a couple of other boxes to tick, and then you will be in the prize draw, and you could win 10 $100 gift cards.
You win one of them, right?
Yeah, you can't.
So 10 people are going to win one.
Yeah, 10 winners.
Okay,
which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Spread the wealth and all that.
That's pretty cool.
And not only that, if you use if you use Outlaw at the checkout, that was a bad idea, wasn't it?
If you use Ollie at the checkout,
they'll send me some more
all
T-shirts.
of the merino.
That's like the cheat code. If you ever put Ollie in there, they just all arrive. No, if you use Outlaw at the checkout, you will get 15% off your order. So jump in the competition. I think that's pretty good of them. We are also sponsored by Manscaped, who are now everywhere. The official electric trimmer of the UFC, Manscaped, everywhere, aren't they?
Yes.
They're also sponsoring Max Holloway, Francis Ngannou, Sugar Sean, who's on the card this week. They're everywhere. And they're now shipping to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the EU, as well as the UK. And now we have to segregate the fact we have to say both now.
That's weird.
All kinds of trouble in it's causing. There we go.
Headaches.
Stay out of politics. If you use Full Reptile at the checkout with Manscaped, you will get 20% off and free shipping. Also, don't forget to play along this weekend for this weekend's card on MMA Fanatics. Get fanatics.app. We have a Full Reptile league going on, and we'll be making our picks off the back of this into the league. So come and join the fun. I'm not happy with you.
Why not?
I'm not happy at all. I've had a right week.
What?
I've had a
and
right
now is
week
that my
you.
fault?
Because it was your idea to do Uncensored.
Well, kind of.
I mean, it's good, and people are really enjoying it. But I've got to compete with that chimp all day, every day now. Honestly, it's like someone's walked into the chimp thing at the zoo, whacked the alpha male in the balls, and just gone, good luck with that. He's everywhere. He's all over everyone, walking around shouting, effing and blinding. Honestly, it's like I'm exhausted this week.
Well,
exhausted.
He's head coach, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's 10% worse when the camera's there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send all the bitch-ass messages that he sends me afterwards. Oh, mate, I need some advice, mate. I'm going to send all them to Mystery. You can put them in. That's real Uncensored.
Just layer them over the top when he's chatting shit.
Yeah, every time he's chatting shit, I'll be like, that was all right, wasn't it?
That last episode, mate. The end of that last episode, where he was like...
Yeah, he does go off. He does go off first, doesn't he?
He's just proper paranoid. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I've missed it this week because I've been down filming stuff for BT Sport. So I'm watching the episodes popping up. I'm like,
I want to be there. Yeah. He's we love him. We've been friends for a long time. He's a character that, other people should get to enjoy and not just us.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you sat him down on the podcast, you just wouldn't get any of that version of him.
No, he's in the jungle, isn't he? He's in the jungle.
He's in his chimp enclosure.
Yeah, exactly.
With his other chimps.
And he is definitely the king of the chimps. But no, it's good. I think it's good that everyone will get to see a bit of him. He's been off the radar for a little bit, and he's back. And like I try to say, he's a very good coach.
He is an excellent coach.
He does have a bit of paranoia in him. No, we're good. So you're back up. We'll go again Monday. We're going again Monday? Yeah, we'll go again Monday.
And the amateur classes and kids classes are not like that.
Yeah, I thought that, So we're just relaunching Hardy Warhead, gym is relaunching its classes, so for the general public and the non-pros. And please don't think that what happens on the pro squad has any bearing on what the normal class is for people that want to come and experience MMA and learn MMA. They are polar opposites. It's very, very respectful, open gym, and we'd love to have you down. And we've got some real good classes: BJJ, grappling, striking. We've got mini outlaws, which is our kids class, and then we've got little ninjas, which is our 4, 5, and 6 year olds. We've got a women's only striking class on Monday. It's huge, and we're looking forward to getting it rolling again. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, and it's nothing like uncensored. Just to reiterate that.
Yeah.
So BT Sport. Yeah. You done your Conor Dustin breakdown.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Thursday I did.
So we need to talk about VPNs and stuff.
Well, we will do. If one of them goes up, it'll be geo-blocked again, I would imagine.
Nice
Down the man.
Yeah.
But the breakdown show was good. Like we filmed that on Thursday, and then straight after we filmed some demo stuff. Veronica and I did some demo stuff. You might have seen the clip on Instagram. Just going through like the tactical, strategies from both fighters, what they could use to potentially win and stuff. And I spent 3 days just completely in it, ready to film those shows, so it's kind of good to get them out and done. But it was good. And then the Friday we did like a debate show, which was kind of weird because we're still socially distancing, kind of in an octagon in a warehouse. It's a bit weird, but it was fun. Like it was myself and Adam Cattrall presenting.
What you should have done, you should have just gone to watch England and done it there, because you don't have to socially distance there. You just stood in the crowd and do your debate there, and it'd be fine. It's weird. Stand right next to each other.
There's these weird like weird hoops we have to jump through. Like some people have got masks on, other people haven't got masks, and some places you have to wear them. Like the hotels, you don't have to wear a mask, but if you go into a shop, you have to wear one. And it's
maybe they don't know what they're doing.
Maybe they don't know what they're doing.
Maybe people are making this up as they go along. Maybe
nobody knows what they're doing. The older I get, the more I realise that everyone's just old kids.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what they're doing. I mean, Boris Johnson is a good example of that. Go outside. Don't go outside. Use public transport, but don't use public transport.
I love it. I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
All good. Yeah, right. Shall we have a look at the card?
Okay. Have you got Tapology up?
Yeah, well, I took it off Tapology today. Have you got Tapology up?
I have Tapology up, yes. Go on. I'm going to let you go first with all the names today. Yeah,
that's nice of you. Amedovski.
Yeah, Alen Amedovski, yes.
Yeah, Alen Amedovski. And Yaozong.
Yeah.
Right?
Hu Yaozong, yeah.
Hu Yaozong. This does not look good for Yaozong, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to flip it on its head for you. Right. Because this is the first time that Yaozong's ever fought at middleweight. So
what was he fighting at before?
He was a heavyweight coming into the UFC. He made his debut as a heavyweight against Cyril Asker. Then he moved down to light heavyweight.
Which is why I got ragdolled a little bit.
Yeah. And now he's moved down to middleweight.
Oh, right.
And he's like 6'2", 6'3". And one thing I will say about 6'3", one thing I will say about Alen Amedovski is I thought he was a big welterweight when I saw him. I'm not saying he's not heavy.
So he might be more natural at middleweight.
He's 5'10", so he's going to look like the smaller fighter, and he's taking on a guy that has been a heavyweight for
I suppose that does change it a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
Told you I was going to flip it on its head.
You did flip it bad.
You love that shit.
So maybe there you go. Right in the mic.
I don't have the build-up room, I don't have the wind-up.
Space. Create some space.
So what's your note saying now?
You've just chopped my legs off of any kind of argument I was going to make there. But maybe Yaozong will be all right. I just feel like, Amedovski was going to come and try and rag him around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to. I mean, losing a decision to Jotko's, there's no shame in that, because Jotko's a talented and tough individual, really tricky, a real spoiler. That was his UFC debut, and he got caught up at customs. He didn't arrive until real late, And then he fought John Phillips and got knocked out.
Yeah, but he fought John Phillips with the worst game plan possible. How are you going to lose to John Phillips?
You're going to get knocked out.
Yeah, let's turn this into a brawl as fast as possible. Turn it into a brawl and got absolutely KO'd, didn't he?
That's exactly why you don't do that with John Phillips.
No.
I mean, he's changed his nickname now, hasn't he? He's the Welsh Wrecking Machine.
Well,
He used to be the White Mike Tyson.
right. Clues in the name.
Yeah.
Alan. The clues in the name, Alan. Have a look at his fights before you go in there and turn it into a brawl.
Yeah.
No, he just got hit hard, didn't he, by someone who hits really hard.
Yeah. I think this one should be an interesting one, given the fact that they're both in a bad spot. They both need a win. The fact that there's a big size difference between the two of them as well. I think that evens out the difference in their record.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah. Yaozong's 3-2 and Amedovski's 8-2. So he's got a little bit on him, hasn't he?
Mm.
Oh, I'll be interested to see what he looks like at that.
Yeah. I mean, Cyril Asker's, he's not a big heavyweight, but he's still a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And then Rashad Coulter's a real difficult guy to deal with. And if I remember right, he hurt Rashad Coulter a few times. He just couldn't get him out of there.
Yeah. Well, maybe Yaozong will come through then.
Yeah.
You have flipped me.
Sorry.
You have flipped me.
I have literally only just looked at this card today because I've been entirely focused on the main event. So when we get to the main event...
No, you'll check out the main event and be like, look, watch the programs. Watch the products.
So you were going for Alen Amedovski?
I was. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But we'll have to see, won't we? It just wasn't... Yaozong just in that Cyril Asker fight just got mauled a bit, didn't he? And he didn't seem to have much in his... much in terms of his wrestle... prevention, his takedown D, but maybe that's not going to be a problem.
I think he might stop him.
You reckon?
Just because he's the bigger, stronger guy, he's going to come in feeling like he's a giant by comparison.
Yeah.
There's a good height difference. Height difference. The fact that he's been massive, a heavyweight. No.
Yeah.
And the two losses that he's picked up have both been in the UFC. I mean, he's only had 5 fights, and he was 3 fights, 3 stoppages coming in.
Mm.
And Glory of Heroes, I don't know much about the show, but Glory of Heroes was one of the shows Adesanya was fighting on before he came to the UFC.
Yeah. All right. Who are we picking then? Because they moan when we don't solidify a pick in there.
Well,
Yaozong.
I'm going. I think Yaozong's gonna do it.
We'll lock him in.
Go on.
Cool. Yeah.
Next one.
Zhumagulov.
Yeah.
Zhumagulov?
Yep.
Zhumagulov and Rivera.
Yes.
Jerome Rivera. Zhumagulov's in a bit of a spot, isn't he?
Well, they both are.
Yeah.
I mean...
But Amir Albazi is pretty good, right? That's who he lost to last time out, I think.
Yeah.
We rate him relatively highly, don't we?
Yeah. But he's got a win... Zhumagulov's got a win over... Tyson Nam, though, doesn't he, before he came into the UFC?
Yeah.
So that was the thing that stood out. Yeah, like he's got a good record until he came to the UFC. And then he's just hit a bit of bother. He's had a couple of losses in the past, though. Yeah, so like if you look at the people he's fought before, like he's got a unanimous decision win over Tyson Nam and Tagir Lambekov, who was undefeated up to that point. And he's got a win over Ali Bagatinov. Who's another,
solid, isn't he?
and that's a split decision, but it's still, it's still a win over him.
Yeah, and then, Jerome's in a similar spot, right? He's fought Tyson Nam and lost.
Yeah,
he's lost another 2, all in a year and a bit. He's in a bit of a hole, and this is probably not the greatest guy to have to try and dig yourself out from it.
No, they're both backed into a corner. Zhumagulov's been here before. He's had 2 losses on his record before, and he's managed to get back on a win streak. There's an age difference as well, isn't there? He's had a couple of losses, hasn't he? Oh, he lost to Brandon Royval.
Yeah, injury. I'm not sure. I haven't seen. You've not watched that, have you?
No, I haven't either.
One, I don't know what that means by injury, but I do know what it means. As in he's got injured, but I'm not sure what it refers to.
I think Zhumagulov's going to be too much for him.
Yeah. I quite like him too. He's a good...
Plus, he's got a unanimous decision win over Tyson Nam, who stopped Rivera.
Yeah. Zhumagulov.
I mean, I know that MMA math doesn't work like that, but,
No.
Okay. These are two old boys. We've seen these hundreds of times. Omari Akhmedov against Brad Tavares. Two kind of small middleweights. Akhmedov used to be a welterweight coming into the UFC.
But he's like... He's still, even though he's relatively small, he's still a bit of a handful, isn't he? Like
Powerful.
Yeah, just power.
Strong, powerful.
Yeah.
Difficult to keep a hold of. You know, he's 6 foot. He's not undersized for a middleweight. He was a welterweight. But then Brad Tavares has always kind of not been a huge middleweight by comparison. You know, when he fought Israel Adesanya, he just,
But like even Akhmedov, he sort of fights big. Do you know what I mean? That's his game, and he's going to put you in your back. He's going to beat you up. He's going to make you feel like he's heavy. You're having to do all the lifting, getting him off you. He it's funny in that Tom Breeze fight. I know. We've got a lot of respect for Tom and what have you. But when you say MMA is more and more about decision making, when you've got when Akhmedov's got like a kind of loose sort of single on you, and you go for a guillotine, and I'm sure he backs his guillotine. I'm sure it's very strong, but like, what happens if you don't get it? Well, 4 minutes on your back pretty much happens when you don't get it.
Yeah,
and I saw that, and I thought of what you were saying about you just got this. Half of the game is about making better decisions, and you're in not rushing stuff, and it's rough. I mean, I feel like Akhmedov could play that game against Brad. He could stand with him for a little bit, put him on his back, or put him up against the fence and do that wrestle beat up game.
Yeah,
not quite easily, but it's there to be done, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Brad Tavares is the better striker out of the two, and I think that even if he's being pushed back, he's going to be more effective with his striking than Akhmedov. But I have seen Brad Tavares hurt a couple of times, and Akhmedov coming in, throwing bombs over the top, level changing, driving him into the fence.
Yeah,
it might just be a long night for Tavares.
Yeah,
but if he can establish a clinch on the way in, if he can get that Muay Thai clinch, he's working with Ray Sefo. He's going to be lightning with his knees.
Yeah,
he is a good fighter all round. Brad Tavares is, but he can get kind of drowned with pressure. And
but Akhmedov's going to bring pressure in it.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to bring. That's the fundamental part of that kind of game, isn't it?
And he's got good wins on his record as well. I mean, Ian Heinisch, Zach Cummins, Tim Bosch is a good win.
Yeah.
Draw against Marvin Vettori, and then he was a welterweight before that, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he might be one of those. He might have been at welterweight, but really, maybe this is the weight
just
for
more
him.
Comfortable.
Yeah, stronger, more energy, carved up.
Yeah.
Happy days.
I'm leaning towards Akhmedov.
Yeah, I had him down.
Of course you did.
Yeah, the wrestle game.
Yeah, you were getting shit for having your notes, weren't you, on the uncensored as well?
What is he talking about? As if you could do this with no notes. Can I have a look if you want? I mean, and then he said, no, I'm not buying. No, I just retract that statement. I'm not buying. I'm not giving him anything. You're not having anything.
I don't have notes.
No, I know, but you've been embedded in MMA for your whole life, and for the last 8 years, literally embedded in MMA.
I suppose. I have a terrible memory, though. I've been punched in the head a lot.
Yeah.
Akhmedov,
yeah, lock him in.
Jennifer Maia, Jessica Ai.
Yeah. Jessica Ai is 2 losses deep and 2 grappling losses deep in the same period of time. She's in a bit of a rough spot.
And she's very emotional. She's going to be very, very het up this week. Het up, that's not a word that people use very often, isn't it?
No one other than the English are going to get that, are they?
She's going to be het up. She'll be vexed.
Yeah. I feel like vexed is a more internationally recognised.
Yeah.
Het up, and that might even be this area.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a word.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a word.
All right, we'll go with it.
Anyway.
But she's going to be het up.
She's going to be het up.
She's going to be pissed.
She's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
She's going to be angry. She's going to be frustrated. She's going to be emotional. Anytime she gets to speak into a camera, she's going to go off on tangents, and she's going to tell you how she's fucking earned this, and people have been fucking taking everything from her.
This is not a good place
That's
to be.
the problem. And Jennifer Maia's good striking and grappling. And I would say Jessica Ai's advantage is probably the wrestling. So she might be able to dictate where it goes, but she might not be able to dictate what's happening, whichever destination she chooses.
She's slick on the floor, Jennifer, isn't she?
She is.
That was a nice armbar finish, Jojo.
Yes.
Slick.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a good grappler. She held her own against Shevchenko, but no one expected her to win that.
No.
Caitlin Chikagian's a very underrated fighter. She's got good footwork, good boxing, very good awareness of range.
Yeah,
and
she's coming through Chicadian now. Like she's
she's had a couple of wins.
She's established.
It was just
now,
that
right?
fight that she got stopped against Andrade, the body shot. But aside from that, she lost.
You feel like she's weak through there anyway,
a little
or
bit.
just based off that.
I think anybody getting punched at the wrong time in the guts is gonna fold. It's just it's the nature of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's catching people at the right time. If you land a shot on the body when they're expecting it and they're braced for it, it's difficult to hurt someone. But as I was saying though, like Jennifer Maia's got wins over Alexis Davis and Roxanne Modafferi. She's coming off a title shot as well.
Pool, really, isn't it? Like people, they all have to fight each other because the pool's not that deep, is it?
No.
I know there's people, there's always people coming through on the next sort of wave of up and comers and stuff. But you look through their records and everyone sort of fights everyone. You have a good sense of the hierarchy, don't you?
Yeah. The other thing with Jessica Eye is she struggles with her weight sometimes. She's missed weight a couple of times.
Did we talk about this before? And someone said in the comments, didn't they, that she had a problem that she's got fixed with the doctors, something like a pancreas or something, and it was.
Oh, is that right?
It was hitting her off on her weight, yeah. And it was not, and she was struggling to do anything about it, and then she got some medical help, and it's not been a problem.
Okay then.
There's a mild chance I'm mixing that up, but I'm pretty sure it was her. The person that wrote it is probably still watching, so let us know. She was
0.3 pounds over when she fought Cynthia Calvillo. I think that was the last time she missed weight. She was on she was on weight for Calderwood. She just used the pound allowance.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure it was her.
She was 6 pounds over against Araujo though.
All right, that's not that long ago, is it?
Not really.
No. Maia for me.
Yeah, I just think she's just a bit more calculated, and she's got skills in both ranges. Whereas Jessica Eye, she gets emotional, she gets drawn in.
But she probably tops the wrestling a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think she could. If she wanted to ground the fight, she could. But whether that's the right thing to do or not,
Yeah, right.
Is to be seen.
Yeah, Maia for me, I think.
Okay, Ryan Hall. This is a good matchup. This is a really good matchup.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall against Ilia Topuria.
I just think Ilia's going to light him up, don't you?
Yes.
What are you shaking your head at? Nah.
He's a fanboy, isn't he? He likes all the cult, all the cult fanboy.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. I mean, look,
all the ones that he fancies, which is a mixed bag. I mean, it's one or the other sometimes. The thing is so Ilia Topuria has got knockout power in his hands. He's got Greco-Roman wrestling background, so if this locks up, he might be able to dictate where this fight goes
and disengage if he wants to.
Yeah, and he's an excellent grappler as well. He's got a more fundamental approach to the jiu-jitsu game. It's it's Darce chokes, his neck attacks.
You're not rolling that dice though, are you? Even if you've got that in your back pocket, but he's clearly like a level above standing and in the clinch.
Exactly.
You're not going to roll that dice, surely.
I don't think so. But Ryan Hall has got very creative ways to find his way into a grappling situation. And you can't use Greco to solve Imanari rolls.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's ways that Ryan Hall can create chaos and work his way in. Plus, his striking's all over the place. Yeah. I mean, it is really a mess. But because it's a mess, there's awkward things that work dangerous. For him. Yeah, like weird kind of side kicks and stuff. And
I just watching him in the stand up. I just don't feel like he moves at the same cadence that Ilia moves at. You know what I mean? And he's just going to get stung and then not be able to do anything by the time Topuria's moved out and moved away and is on the way back in to sting him again.
I mean, this is the first time he's literally taken on a shark.
Yeah,
like you look at the other guys he's fought. So
tiny bit padded in it.
Yeah, I mean, he lost to Saul Rogers by majority decision, and Saul's a tough, gritty grappler.
Yeah,
that's not got the most flamboyant of games, but was able to cause him a lot of problems. And once you shut down one part of his game, then he feels like he's forced to strike, and then there's panic associated with that. Artem Lobov is just a chaotic brawler. We love Artem, but you're not going to see much finesse from him.
Yeah.
Gray Maynard love Gray Maynard, but he's past his
He's not
his
who he
prime.
was.
Not at all. Not by a long way.
He's not that Frankie here, is he?
No, he's not. And that was a frustrating fight for him because Ryan wouldn't engage with him, would it? And then he beat up BJ Penn, who's 10 years
58.
past his best. Yeah. And then Darren Elkins, who's got the damage tattooed across his chest, like he's there to be beaten up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not tough and gritty and durable, but there's nothing finesseful about his game. And then on the flip side, you get Ilia Topuria, who's just taking guys down and subbing them left, right, and centre, like making it look easy. And the one guy on his record that he couldn't take down and submitted, he knocked him out in the second round. He's just a different kind of animal to what Ryan Hall's facing. I know there's a cult following behind Ryan Hall, and he's an interesting, eclectic character, and he's got.
Oh, but no doubt, if he goes to the floor, like
for sure, it's very competitive.
Yeah. There's a huge chance that this might go against Ilia, but if he can keep it standing, the way he moves in and out, is like I feel like he's going to get Ryan biting on his feints all day. He's going to be in a bit of trouble, I think.
I think as long as he doesn't go normal game plan and he goes stubborn first round,
right?
Keep it standing, counter punch, frustrate him, and break him psychologically when now he knows he can't get in.
Yeah.
And then start closing him down. Because then even if he is level changing, he's level changing out of panic, and then he's offering necks and head and arm positions for Darces and Anacondas.
God,
and that's what he does.
Ryan Hall would be a big call.
Yeah. But this is MMA, he could also beat him up pretty
into
good
a submission,
first. Yeah. You beat somebody into a submission on the feet before they collapse and fold to the floor. Like, he's got a lot of first round finishes, which is my only concern. He might go out there and get tangled up unnecessarily early, and anybody can have their knee ripped apart, and that's what Ryan Hall brings to the table.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have the rest of the game to bolster it. He's like a new age Damian Maia.
Right. I mean, look, my money will be on Topuria, but when someone is as dangerous as Ryan Hall in one aspect, you can't write that off.
You can't write him out. No, and that's why it's an interesting fight because Topuria's got all of the skills to deny Ryan Hall everything he can do.
But there's still a chance.
Doesn't mean
there's
he's
still
going
a
to be able
chance
to do
you're
it.
going to walk home with no ACL.
No, but I'm erring on the side of logic and going with Topuria for sure.
Yeah, right.
I think he's quite a special fighter as well. This might be people's realization. Okay. Dricus du Plessis against Trevin Giles.
Yeah. Du Plessis from Pretoria, my good friends from Pretoria, one of my coaching mentors, Franz Ludicus, he coached the Bulls there. Like, Pretoria is rugby mad. Like, the Bulls is Man United, pretty much, yeah. Like, he coached them to 2 Super Rugby titles. He's a very, very, very good man. Good, solid man.
Nice.
And, I'm surprised. Is Dricus a middleweight?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Big athletic middleweight. Very
they breed them big and athletic in Pretoria for sure.
Yeah.
He's got this is rearranged, right? They were supposed to, I feel like this was supposed to happen, and then 7 days out something happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure Dricus couldn't get a visa, or
Du Plessis withdrew, it says.
Yeah. I'm sure it's something like a visa or something like that, and it was pretty last minute.
It might be because of the coronavirus and limited travel or something like that.
The variant, another variant. Look, Trevin's grabbed some good wins, hasn't he? James Krause, Roman Dolidze is a difficult puzzle to figure out. Like, he's pretty good everywhere, isn't he? And he's solid and strong, and that's a good win. I'm just not sure if he's got the same pop as Dricus. He just seems to have that. He was so pumped when he won that fight, wasn't he? He was like super pumped just to be in the UFC. And then he got that fight with the left hook.
Yeah.
Left hook behind the ear,
Marcus
I think.
Perez.
Yeah. And he was just, it was sort of like, when you see someone that happy, like, it's hard not to be that happy for him.
Yeah.
But I like him. He's tough. You know what? Oh, yeah, maybe you were commentating. I think did you commentate it? And you could see for 2 minutes, he looked like he was flexing for 2 minutes, and then after 2 minutes, he sort of
relaxed a little bit,
took a breath, relaxed, and then it all went great from there.
Yeah.
But he was flinching at everything and like almost overreacting to everything, and then he just calmed down a little bit, took a breath, and it went all good from there, didn't it?
I think this is I think it's a competitive fight skill wise, but I think I feel like Trevin Giles kind of sits back a little bit sometimes. He's got a little bit of a lazy style, like he'll wait for the fight to come to him. Whereas Duplessis, you can see that anxiety in his game. He's like,
make it happen.
Yeah,
well, let's go.
Yeah. And you know, he's got one loss on his record. Well, he's got 2 losses on his record. One by Gareth McClellan, who is another, you know, South African fighter that got to the UFC. He was a EFC champion, and that was 2014. So I can write that one off. And then his other loss was to Soldic, who's the KSW champ, and he beat Soldic to win the belt, and then lost the rematch. But they were both great fights, and Roberto Soldic is a monster.
Yeah. He's going to bring it in. Dricus is definitely going to bring it.
I think Duplessis might be a little
overawe him a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think he's just a little bit too more. He's a bit more up for it than Trevin Giles always seems. He always seems a bit like there's a bit extra in the tank that he could spend, but he's like, I'll
hold that.
Yeah.
I'll hold. Yeah, right. I'll go with Duplessis.
This one's chaos. Niko Price against Michel Pereira.
Michel Pereira is a monster, isn't he?
Yeah.
Monstrous.
Seeing a photo of him, though, how old would you think he is?
Older than 27.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not 27.
No way. He might be like, Bruce used to laugh about Fijian passports. They'd be like, you're 28. You feel like I had 14 kids. What are you on about?
There's no way he's 27.
Maybe he's just got a special passport.
Do you reckon?
But he's definitely not 27.
He's no, for sure not.
Yeah.
He's had a fucking long paper round if he's 27.
Like I said, he's massive and he's athletic and he's like a super predator, isn't he? But where's his martial arts at? Where do you think he's at?
I think he's a better gymnast than he is a martial artist. No, to be honest, to be fair to him,
until he pulls one of those things off, and then you're like, oh shit!
I mean, when he settles down,
he
actually has got a good skill set. But he's the thing that costs him, or the thing that did cost him in the UFC, aside from the illegal knee, was the feeling that he had to deliver something to the fans as far as performance. Like that fight against Tristan Connolly, I was in the arena for that. I was working on the desk. And like the whole arena, of course, they're behind this guy because Connolly took it on like 3 days' notice or something, and he was clearly undersized and under-athleted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He just had toughness and grit, and he was like, "I made it to the UFC, and I don't care who I've got to fight to get here." You know what I mean? And it's just
I'm gonna fight you.
But he was doing backflips off the fence and stuff, and he just exhausted himself. And then Connolly put himself in a position where he could just punch him relentlessly.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing. But the whole arena, like the shift in the arena and the rise as Connolly started to turn the corner.
Tables,
it was wild.
But it's funny, isn't it? Like you still need to. It's not just wins and losses. The UFC, is it? Like we always talk about how the sport of it crosses with the entertainment side of it. So you do have to have a bit, but you have to get your meat and veg right first.
Got to get the balance right, because you can do all the performance, you can do the backflips off the fence, but you've got to be a Justin Gaethje if you're doing that.
Yeah.
You can't have all that stuff and then not have the substance. You know. And it's not like I don't think he does have the substance. His last 2 fights, I mean, Rinnicky choke over Imadaev and then the win over Chaos Williams, the decision. Like we've seen
a tough fight too. Yeah. That was.
Like we've seen some of his good foundational skills now, and they are there. And I think if he's just a bit more, I mean, the fact is he is a great athlete. There's no doubt about that. But if he applied that to more offensive techniques,
you can waste that athleticism, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And like we always talk about moving for moving's sake. Don't move for moving's sake. Move with a purpose, move with a plan. And there's a fair bit of wasted energy going on, isn't there?
So much to the point where it's frustrating.
Yeah, and that is only going to take the pop and the bounce out of him. You can see the power bar sort of just slowly. No one can keep it topped up the whole way.
And a lot of the stuff he's doing, he's not even trying to do something offensive with it.
Yeah,
he's just trying to make the crowd go, "Whoa!" I mean, make fireworks if that's what you're into. Just what I mean. I like to see people stick to an offensive game and work through it.
I mean, Niko's athletic. He's probably not quite the same as Pereira, but he's an athletic dude, isn't he?
Awkwardly athletic.
Yeah. He got picked apart a little bit by Luque, didn't he?
Yeah, but most people do.
Who looked really good in that fight, to be fair. He looked really, really good.
Good foundational skills.
Yeah.
You know, Vicente Luque is a good technical striker.
Yeah, no fluff.
No fluff.
No Michel Pereira in there.
Well, I mean, look at the ways in which Niko Price has won a couple of these fights. Against James Kick, he won it. Against James Kick. Against James Vick, he won by up kick in the first round. Up Vic.
Yeah.
And then against Randy Brown, he won by hammer fists from the bottom position.
Holy shit.
There's chaos in his game, but there's finishing chaos. I think if Michel Pereira comes in and tries to be a bit chaotic, he might find himself on the offensive end of the chaos of Niko Price. I think Price is a real tough, durable individual that will just stand back and let Pereira bounce off the fence for the first round.
Just wait.
And wait.
Let him burn his energy.
And then when he's tired, just start cracking him. And he's all elbows and knees as well, Niko Price.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a swarm. Like he swarmed. He must have, when he fought Cowboy, like he must have established Cowboy as a late starter, isn't he? Like we all sort of recognise that.
Yeah.
And he swarmed him early, didn't he? I know that fight ended up being nonsense because the UFC have shit gloves, but and it was Fingergate, wasn't it?
Fingergate.
Like at least 3 or 4 high pokes, I think, something like that.
But yeah, he did in other events. Weirdly,
no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're hard up though, so it's difficult for him to change all of them gloves.
I think we've found his limit. I think we've found his competitive ceiling.
Yeah.
And I don't know as he's going to surpass that in any way, but that doesn't mean he can't beat Michel Pereira. It's a fun fight.
It is a fun fight. Yeah, right. I thought Michel Pereira might edge it.
You reckon? Yeah.
I'm just not. Yeah. But it kind of depends what he comes to do. Do you know what I mean? What's he coming to do? Is he coming to?
Well, you've got to make the calls. You know?
Yeah, put a marker down and just win the fight or not.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Right, we'll go opposites on that.
So you're going Pereira? Yeah, I'm going Niko
You go
Price.
Price.
Yeah.
Athlete,
I like this
athlete over the technician.
That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it used to be. Not anymore. Shit heap over there.
Max Griffin against Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
Another good fight.
Another great fight.
See, Max Griffin's kind of turned the corner a bit recently. I thought we'd seen his limit.
He's tough.
I thought we'd seen his competitive limit, and then all of a sudden he started to surprise me a bit.
Mate, he hasn't lost any other weight other than decision since 2016, so he's durable and tough, isn't he?
That was the fight I forgot. I was trying to remember the guy's name the other day with the cauliflower ear that got bust off the side of his head. That was it. Ramiz Brahimov. Yeah.
It's just hanging off.
He got
I'll
hit.
Clip that for Josh and send it to Josh.
That's who I was talking about with it. It was Josh. He got hit with an elbow, and the guy actually felt his ear shake and felt there was something weird with it. And that's like he was in the clinch against the fence and like reached for it and was like, "Oh shit, that's kind of half detached." And they stopped the fight because of the ear injury.
Right.
That's how bad it was.
Shit.
And then Song Kenan, who I was all over Song Kenan, talking about how good he was and how excellent this fight was going to be and how he was going to look really good against Max Griffin, and then he got bingoed half a round through.
Yeah, he slept him hard, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, look, everyone sort of likes Carlos Condit, don't they? Like, he's been around, he's skilled, he's like nasty and he's hard-edged, isn't he? Very experienced. People like watching him fight.
Awkward timing as well.
Yeah. Different metronome, right? Just slightly off.
A little bit off. A little bit Niko Price in his timing.
Right.
Like there's a little bit of a lag to it, a little bit of a delay to it sometimes.
But useful, right? Because
well, the thing you remember when he caught GSP with that head kick.
Yeah. And
he did like a real deep roll, and then the kick came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like that's the bit that he brings to the table as well. I mean, he's just had a grappling match against Jake Ellenberger as well. Won by heel hook in the first.
He's had a turbulent career, hasn't he?
Yeah, up and down.
Really turbulent.
Retired for a bit.
Yeah.
Went into another business. I mean, he was on a 5-fight losing streak at one point.
Yeah, right. He got up to the title shot, didn't he? Like, I mean, interim. It happens, right?
He won the interim, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah. He won the interim title. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, but he fought George, didn't he? And sort of after fighting Georgie, he just went on a bit of a slide. And he's got fights back with Court and Matt Brown, hasn't he? But he's almost in that Masters. Well, he is in that Masters division, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not going to push for a belt run now.
No, but then Max Griffin, I don't think he is in that Masters division.
Not quite.
I think he's still kind of edging towards. Is he ranked? He's 35. I mean,
yeah.
He's no spring chicken.
No. You know what? I was making me laugh watching this back with in that Song. I think we might have mentioned it before in that Song Kinan fight, as when Max was giving it you're asleep, and then he turned back around and sees that he's actually asleep. And just went, I hope you're all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you sleeping, mother? Oh, I hope you're all right.
I think that's called a 182.
Yeah. Do you think Carlos is slightly technically better than Max, and that might win the day?
Yeah. I'm going with the old school.
Yeah.
I'm going with the old school.
That was my read.
I think Max Griffin's good, and I think if he caught Carlos, he could hurt him, but he's not easy to put away.
No.
I think Max Griffin might look really good in the first round, and then Condit's going to come out in the second round.
Efficient Condit, though, isn't he? Like he's the opposite of Pereira. He's not going to waste anything, really.
Not at all.
He's going to throw to land or not throw.
Yeah. And he puts his combinations together well, and it's not normally the first shot that lands. You know what I mean? It's normally the third or fourth shot in the combination. And another one of my favourite performances of his was against Thiago Alves, where he lost the first round, then came out in the second and just opened him up with elbows.
Yeah,
I can see something very similar happening here. I think he's going to have a rough first round against Griffin, and then he's going to come on real strong and stomp him in the second and third. Probably win a decision, but probably a messy one.
Right, open him up. You reckon?
Yeah.
All right, lock Condit in.
So Sean O'Malley.
What is going on here?
Is this kid a footballer?
I have literally no idea who this dude is and how it's come about.
Well, I was just watching one of his fights earlier. I don't understand why they do this.
And there was loads of sort of social media chat about who Sugar was going to fight.
Everyone wanted to fight him.
And then just out of the blue, old mate just appeared.
Yeah.
We're like, we've locked this in now.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, I know Sean's marketable. I suppose they want him winning because he almost has a bit of a niche demographic, doesn't he? That's probably good for business.
Yeah.
And he's very, very good with the content and stuff in here. Do you know what I mean? He's always
the YouTube generation.
Yeah. I mean, he's smart. Like, we laugh about it, but like, it's smart. He's doing that part of his job. He's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they want him to do this part of his job really well, and they'll be happy with him.
There are lots of fights that they could have given him that would have been rough.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that called him out would have given him a rough fight. And I think, the other thing we've got to bear in mind is he's not that far into his career.
No, I was just thinking.
He's 14 fights in. Like you don't. I know that, and I know they're doing it with some other people. Like we've got Cyril Gann fighting for some silly interim title now.
What is that about? Just to segue a little bit.
It's just a fuck you to Ngannou, isn't it, for commenting on Fighter Pay. That's literally what it is.
That is like, I mean, I get it. I know, obviously, I get it. I know what they're doing, but is it for a corporation of that size? It's an embarrassing way to behave.
It is. It is.
And ultimately, it is definitely going to force a union at some stage. They'll unionise at some stage. Now, whether they can get their act together to do it in my lifetime, I don't know. But you cannot have a business behaving like that.
And the problem is as well is that as these fighters' careers progress, and the more of them they piss off, the more people are going to go across the road from the UFC and start working the opposite direction, which is what we've seen from a lot of people. These and the thing is, like, the big stars, the ones that are being impactful, they tie them into contracts which extend, years after they're done fighting.
Yeah.
But the contracts still come to an end, and there's still a point where the GSPs and the Anderson Silva's out of his contract now, but the GSPs and the Khabibs and all those kind of people, they can now go out into the MMA world and start doing big things themselves, and they've got the weight to do it
a little bit. There's a few disruptive things happening in there.
Yeah. Which is weird because Triller kind of started it all off.
Yeah.
I mean, every time there was rumblings of a fighter union before, like I saw Randy Couture commenting on it the other day and saying some very logical things. But there was even a point where Randy was starting to set up a union, and he went into Dana's office and had a meeting and came out with a big smile on his face and a big check in his back pocket, and it was never mentioned again.
Oh, really?
And you're just like, fuck,
Yeah, the greater good. It's a tough one. You're taking on Goliath. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is a tough one. You think about the establishment of unions through history, and they're literally bloody, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's a bloodbath.
Yeah,
to make it happen in one way or another.
See, this is the thing that people don't realize is that like the problems that the UFC were having getting MMA legalized in New York was not really anything to do with MMA. It was to do with the fact that the Fertitta casinos were using non-union workers.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
like it was this whole fucking political thing going on in the background, and the guy that stood and
power, because union is power. Yeah. And as soon as you're trying to take power off someone that has power and they've had it for a long time, they're not about it at all. They'll do anything. They'll do it like government in it. You know what I mean? It's tough to actually change anything to do with government.
Yeah,
like really change it. Anyway, sidetracked a little bit there. I have no idea who Kris Moutinho is.
He's a football player.
Is he?
Moutinho? I don't know.
No idea.
I've just had a look at a couple of his fights. I mean, he looks like he's going to come and try and hold him up against the fence and beat him up a little bit.
Is he going to be able to get hold of Sean? Because Sean's got good movement. You know what I mean?
Not.
He is good. I know he's dug himself his grave a little bit to some degree. That he's said a few things that like we said before, just flip public opinion in like 24 hours.
That was weird.
And I know he's probably turning that around. And the more wins he gets, the more people will jump back on board. But I can't help but feel that if he loses this one, he's going to have a serious thing. It's going to be a long way back. Himself. Yeah.
It'll be a long way back. And this kid might be stepping in just at the right time. I mean, we were just talking about Michel Pereira. We had the same situation with Tristan Connolly. Came in short notice, and
this is your chance, kid.
Yeah. And he took it with both hands. We'll see, won't we? I mean, Sean should beat him. I mean,
you've got to pick Sean, right?
Of course.
You can't not pick him.
I think Sean will probably bingo him. This fight I was just watching with this kid, it's his last loss against Campbell, and he just gets caught with like a lead left hook. He's a southpaw and gets caught with like a sweep and left hook across his forehead, and then gets stopped with elbows.
I bet you get some great odds on him.
Yeah,
I bet you get some incredible odds on him.
That's a good shout.
I know you'll be having a bit on that, sure. Oh, you wouldn't bet against Sugar? You'd never bet against Sugar.
He would never.
Never.
He would never. He'll have his rainbow wig on this weekend.
That's for different reasons.
So we're going with O'Malley.
It's got to be, right? It's got to be.
It would be silly not to. This is a very competitive fight as well.
Yeah.
Very competitive. Aldana against Kunitskaya.
Really tough to call, isn't it?
It's just, I mean, literally flip a coin. I think Kunitskaya has got a bit more depth to her game. Like, we've seen her grapple a bit recently, and the thing that concerned me about Aldana when she fought Holly Holm is that she came in with a game plan, and it never changed all the way through the fight, even though it clearly wasn't working.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because...
It was frustrating to watch,
But because she understands the ring craft, because we've seen it before. Right? We've seen her cut people off before. But is it because she was so scared of the left hand of Holly that
the left leg?
The left leg, okay.
Yeah, it's the left leg.
She just didn't want to cut across because she was just going to walk into it. But then she just didn't adapt at all when it wasn't working, did she?
No, I mean it's the same kick that she knocked out Ronda with, and it's the same kick she knocked out Betchko Haya with.
So do you think she just had that in her head? She said, "Do not circle to my right."
I literally think that was her game plan. I think that was the game plan that she was given. They were like, keep circling away from the left kick, no matter what.
Yeah,
and everything else. Like, I just think they kind of tried to bolt everything else on top of it, but it became such a stalemate because she could never get close to Holly.
Yeah. Because
Holly always knew she was moving in that direction. She always had space to move because she was never being cut off, and she could engage when she chose. And she's a marathon fighter.
I want to open myself up to criticism from certain people if I say, but she can move right. She can circle that way. Yeah. She has to disengage and circle that way. Right?
Either disengage or step hard into it and smother that.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, like
it's not like just don't circle that way. Nah. It's like, of course, I understand the weapons that are coming from that side, but if I want to negate that, either step in or step out and come back in. But I can't just follow her.
You can't just follow her. There's loads and loads of things that she could have done, and that was what concerned me. Is when she went back to her corner. I wanted a corner team to say, okay, you're going to have to start cutting her off, but move diagonally into that kick with a high guard.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to walk into it, it's better to... Is it raining?
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Gee, that's loud, isn't it? I thought the vacuum cleaner was on. Like you can move into that, but you've got to know what those weapons are. And you know, when it gets to an even higher level, you start to bait people to throw their favorite techniques. Like I was discussing it the other day at the gym about Canelo, and when he fought Billy Joe Saunders is like 70-80% lead hand.
Yeah.
Because his left hand is really powerful, so he doesn't want to Tyron Woodley and throw it 10 times and have nothing left. Do you know what I mean? It's like he fights reserved. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, same with McGregor. He's same situation against Poirier. He's got to be measured with how many times he throws it because it's finite. So what Canelo was doing is he was trying to tempt him to throw it more than he wanted, which was then starting to make Billy Joe Saunders uncomfortable. Whereas normally, if you start moving towards that left hand, that's good news for him.
Yeah.
But because it was constant and he felt like he had to keep throwing it,
do you think he felt like he knew he was getting in that trap as well, but he just couldn't help himself because that's the punch he throws there? When that picture pops up, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's doing it again.
And the thing, because Canelo's moving into a range where he knows his opponent's options.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, in boxing, there are far less options. Yeah. But then you look at Holly Holm's game, and there's not a massive variety that comes out of her game either. That she's got good fundamental skills, which she sticks to. So off that left side, it's the left straight, which is not really a knockout punch for her. Wasn't in boxing, has not been in MMA. But the left high kick is the one. So you focus your guard on that.
She throws 4 on the crash.
Yeah, but then there's always the option for the high kick to follow, or that lead side kick that she uses.
Yeah, yeah.
But
She
Aldana
threw
just
that loads in that fight, didn't she?
All the time.
Landed it pretty much at least 90%. Yeah.
That's my concern. Is I feel like Kunitskaya can start striking a bit, and then if she decides she wants to grapple, she can grapple, and
she's very controlling, isn't she? Yeah. Especially up against the fence, she just seems like. I mean, even
like emotionless as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like she's not like engaged in it at all. She's just there to do her job.
Yeah. Like Strelianenko is strong. Like she's a strong and athlete, but Kunitskaya just sort of had away with her a little bit, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, and Caitlin Vera as well. You know, she's another talented fighter. She was climbing the rankings.
Yeah.
But, you know,
she got starched, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, you're thinking of a different fight.
No,
she beat Caitlin Vera by decision.
No, Irene starched, didn't she?
Oh, yes, yeah. That was the gazelle punch. Yeah, that was a little while back, wasn't it? There are only 2 losses, in fact. Kunitskaya and Aldana. Yeah, that's 2019. Yeah, Kunitskaya just shut her out. You know, just controlled her and shut her out. She's the same as she did with Slodyarenko.
I think she could do that again. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's close, isn't it?
Yeah,
I feel like she's going to pressure her and get hold of her and not let her go and just beat her up.
Yeah. I think Aldana's got better hands. I think she's got better hands. I think she's got more natural punching power. And she's also very good at generating a lot of that power into that lead hook with the gazelle punch that she did knock out Vera with. I think... Oh, that's thunderstorm, yeah. Wicked. It did feel kind of tropical outside, though.
Yeah, it was hot in the gym this morning.
Yeah. I just feel like Kunitskaya's maybe got more options. If she wants to change the range of the fight, she can slow it down and clinch it. If she wants to ground the fight, she's probably going to be able to do that. Yeah. Pull up UFC stats.
She's quite nasty in that clinch. She finds ways of causing damage, doesn't she?
Yeah. Let me have a look. I don't usually look at UFC stats until we get to the top of the card because the stats aren't really filled out too much. But these should have some good stats. Let's have a look. Oh, that's you, mystery.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's up now. Kunitskaya is listed as 5'6". Aldana's 5'9". I would have thought they were about the same height. Same reach, both 68.
It always throws you off. The TV throws you off, doesn't it?
It does. But then sometimes fighters are listed as being the same height, and one of them's clearly 2 or 3 inches taller.
Yeah. I mean,
more volume for Kunitskaya.
Surely there's like an intern that is dealing with that kind of thing. He doesn't really care. Like, just sign this off with you. I just need my hours for my university course. Or 5'6", 5'9", whatever.
Aldana's got 84% takedown defense, but Kunitskaya shoots more regularly by a considerable amount. Yeah. I'm leaning towards Kunitskaya because I feel like she's a better all-round fighter, and I didn't see Aldana adapt. So I feel like if she starts getting taken down, because she's overstepping on her punches, she's not going to figure out how to stop that in the fight.
Annoys you that, don't it?
It does annoy me.
I noticed that, how much it annoys you when people don't adapt. And the coaching staff don't adapt for them.
That's it. It shows of a lack. It just shows a lack of understanding.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me. It shows. It's like when a fighter goes to train at a particular gym and they learn footwork and are really good with that footwork when they're at that particular gym, and then they leave that gym and they don't take the footwork with them. It's like, well, you've not learned it then. You just borrowed it for the time that you were there.
It's like rote learning, and it didn't go into the mainframe.
No, you didn't integrate it. You have to understand it to integrate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kunitsukai for me.
He's doing something, isn't he?
What?
What are you doing? You're not showing
just being creative.
You're not showing any contraband on that, are you, Mystery?
Sure about that?
It's a panoramic photo.
Yeah. Okay. Don't post it before I've seen it, because there's definitely shit in there that I don't want on the photo. Oh, that's good.
Oh, nice.
I thought you were going to get all that. I thought you were sweeping and you were going to get.
Just centered into that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The two big dogs in the yard,
Yeah,
and luckily neither of them are going to wrestle, I don't think.
I think they will.
You reckon?
I think Greg Hardy's going to take Tuivasa down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be wise to.
Yeah.
He does not want to gunsling with Ty.
He's still at ATT. They're not going to put him in there to trade punches with Ty. That would not be a smart thing to do. And if he puts Ty on his back, you put Ty Tuivasa on his back, he's athletically getting up.
Like a whale shark, and he's.
I love the guy, but he gets stuck. He gets stuck in bad positions.
Bad. And
he hits like a heavyweight, but he looks like a light heavyweight when he's on the floor. That's in the wrong weight class. And I know he's cutting. I know people are going to say that, but he's, there's a lot of unathletic weight on him, and I don't think he'd be any more effective if he was lighter, as we've discussed.
We've chatted about it, and the misery to get him down there would just mean he would fall out of love with this, with sport in general, I think. And he'd just be like, nah, I'll play rugby league, leave me alone, it's all good. Like
Ty's a big dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's definitely very, very heavy-handed, more naturally heavy-handed than Greg Hardy, without a doubt. Like the most likely situation if they stay standing is that Ty's going to knock him out, because he's more well versed in his striking, he's more confident with his striking, and he understands that if he connects with one clean shot that it's game over. And we know he can get to the chins of guys that are bigger than him, because he about punched Struve over the fence.
Which is impressive, isn't it? Greg Hardy played American football, right?
Yeah.
He's going to spare him, isn't he?
I think he's going to power double him into the fence, and I think he's going to take half guard top or side control and just
wail
hammer him. Yeah. And when we interviewed him, didn't we, at ATT a couple of years ago? He's a big dude.
Yeah,
he's a big dude. Like when you watch that interview back, we were sitting next to each other, and it looked like we'd shot it fucking Lord of the Rings style.
I mean, if you, did he play in the NFL?
I'm not a hobbit.
He actually played in the NFL.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys.
Do you know what I mean? You have to be a monstrous human being to play in the NFL,
and a monster athlete as well.
Like when you think of the filtration process to get to playing for the Cowboys, like there's no one that is an absolute athletic freak playing American football.
No. And then you transfer that idea of what it is to prepare for competition into MMA.
God, he must have had a shock.
Mate, there was a lot of stuff. Yeah, I know.
He must have had a shock.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Where's all my staff?
Yeah.
Where are my clothes?
Yeah.
Where's my trainer?
There's not a drink in my hand. There's not a drink in my hand.
What, now I have to do it?
There's not a drink in my hand. Yeah, no, he was one thing that stood out to me though when we did see him at ATT is that he's just living it.
Yeah,
like all of his stuff was in the boot of his car. He's living in the dorms upstairs. Like he's he's in a like it's like a 1-bedroom prison cell with a TV and he have a PlayStation in there, and he was literally gaming when he wasn't training.
Yeah, and, I mean, like we've talked about, haven't we, with our plans for the future and fight houses and getting people. If you're gonna do it, if you now more than ever, if you're gonna do it, you've got to embed that stuff to the mainframe and just live in it.
You've got to live it.
Marinate in it and take it all in and just, right, this is it. All or nothing. With a caveat that you should probably be doing some education along the side, just in case. Because it can be a very short-lived career.
But then,
There's plenty of time for that.
Any books that you read about the samurai, they always talk about having a balanced life.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that the samurai were completely engaged in warfare and technique, but you weren't a proper samurai unless you were a musician or an artist or a scholar of some sort. You got to find that balance, because you find insights in things outside of martial arts that will give you insights within martial arts. I was listening to some philosophy today when I was on my drive. And just random things.
Roughhouse Uncensored, is that what you're listening to?
Roughhouse Uncensored, the philosophies of. Fucking bang you.
Yeah, real bang you. I think Ty's going to knock him out with a right hand.
Yeah, do you? Yeah. I can't vote against someone's last name's Hardy.
No, right, that's completely biased.
Of course it is.
And I've also noticed when you've done a piece with people, you're more biased towards those people.
No, I love Ty though. I've called his fights.
I vibe with that dude.
I love Ty and I've called his fights. I just feel like he's coming in for a fight and he's going in against an athlete that knows how to compete.
And he's going to get defensive ended.
He's going to get ended defensively. I think he's going to get mauled. Like it wouldn't make sense for Greg Hardy to roll a dice with that.
No. I think he's going to knock him out.
Come
on, Ty. Let's go. He's on a 2-fight streak now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He lost his way a little bit, didn't he? But he's back.
Yeah, I love Ty.
He's a good personality. He's great.
You wouldn't want to be a hotel maid if he stayed in that room, though. I mean, the amount he celebrates the fact that he pisses the bed.
They have great, and you know how difficult this is for me to say. They have great strength and conditioning support. There's a gym, I think it's called Ethos, in Sydney, I think it is, and him and Tyson Pedro, I think, are at the same place, and they're very good.
Yeah, is that someone you know there?
No, it's not. I've just watched the stuff, and
there's no bias there.
No,
that's where he gets his fucking training.
I'll use that in the warm up on Monday.
You wait until the boys see this podcast. You're like, who'd you rob this off? Fucking YouTube this off someone.
Yeah, but what they forget is I don't care what they think, because that would assume that I have any feelings towards them at all, which I don't. So it doesn't make no difference.
You do. You fucking love them.
Don't.
You love them all.
Stockholm syndrome. That's all. I love this. Who are we locking in? Oh, you're going Greg Hardy.
We're going opposites, aren't we?
Ty,
yeah.
I love this next fight.
Are you on the...
Burns Thompson, what?
Are you hooked on the back of that? Is that you?
Am I tapping? Am I more... No, I don't think so.
Oh, no, you're not. No. It's all right.
That's your head. It's not me. Oh, no, I think I heard it.
Oh, you see?
Maybe I am.
You see?
Sorry, I apologise.
Fuck, I didn't tell you about Nick Pete and True Geordie falling out yesterday. Immediate disagreement. Yeah.
Well, actually falling out or just disagreeing?
Well, I mean, it was like a comical disagreement, but it was about Logan Paul and Mayweather.
Right.
And True Geordie, we were standing chatting, and within a couple of minutes, he was talking about Logan Paul's performance against Mayweather and comparing it to McGregor's. And immediately, as soon as this conversation started, I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be interesting." And like halfway through it, Nick Pete just went, "Get the fuck," and just turned around and started walking off.
Oh shit!
He just started walking off, and True Geordie was like, "What? You don't agree with me?" And Nick was like, "I'm not listening to any more of that shit," and just kept walking. But then they came back together and they kind of talked it out, and
That's just a win.
They're both fiery.
You get someone to walk off. That is like win.
he had to fight. Just turned around and walked off. It was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
Until leaning over right before we start filming, going, "What are we talking about?" I'm like, McGregor Poirier.
What? You haven't done 3 days prep like I've done.
And he drove down himself.
All right.
Can you imagine that?
Shit, times are tough.
He drove down himself. No, not at all. Because he likes to stop when he wants and listen to what he wants. And
that's a long
I totally
drive.
agree. I wouldn't want to get on a train.
Yeah. What's that, Joe? That's
I want a T-shirt that says socially distanced on it.
Yeah. I seen someone today who's like, "I've been double vaccinated, but still stay the fuck away from me." Burns Thompson.
You love it, don't you?
I love it. I just really like watching Wonderboy, because he's just a different slant on the sport a little bit, isn't he? And he's so good at that. And I know, obviously, I know that he's come off the rails a couple of times and he's been caught out and what have you. But I just like watching the combination of his taekwondo and his elasticity and his athleticism combined. I just enjoy watching it.
Karate. I'll correct you before the people in the comments do.
There you go. One of them. All right then, karate and athleticism. But
I mean, his gym is called Upstate Karate,
Is it?
where he trains taekwondo.
right, is it? That's weird. He should call it that when he does taekwondo.
It's
all
weird,
the
isn't
time.
it?
Yeah,
Why would he?
seems a mistake. Seems a marketing mistake from my point of view. I really enjoy watching him, and for him, he's got a great run sheet of experience, and he's recently got some good solid wins.
Yeah, and 37 as well. 38.
Again, is he? Because he's looking
looks
pretty
young,
good.
I think he's
good.
stealing life off Michel Pereira.
Yeah, maybe.
We see him in a room together this weekend. Wonder Boy's going to be fucking drain the life force out of him like the Emperor.
And he just fights top tier. He's been fighting top tier for forever.
The whole time. Because his style is unique and transferable to every single person that he faces.
Yeah.
I think his problems for Gilbert Burns here. Gilbert Burns likes to he likes to fight, he likes to step in and throw punches, and Wonder Boy is all day going to read his movements and pick him off.
Bang, bang,
And you've got to think what Usman can do with his hands, Wonder Boy can do with his feet. Like, there's going to be kicks coming over the top side of his head when he's throwing punches, getting countered. He's going to get that side kick into the midsection over and over again.
Yeah.
And Wonder Boy's takedown offense is legit. I mean, let me have a look on the stats. He's got good takedown offense. He's got good scrambling ability. He always comes in conditioned.
He's not finishing people anymore, is he? As much.
No, but then as you said, he's always fighting top tier.
Well, there's that, and I was wondering also now he's not a surprise to anyone anymore. Do you know what I mean? Everyone knows there's enough of him to watch and to at least attempt to figure out and game plan around.
Yeah, and this is only 15 minutes as well. You know what I mean? So there's not loads of time for him to be hanging out. He only needs to win 3 rounds. If you think he could probably hold him off with his kicking game for a decent period of it. Like, you look at the size disadvantage for Gilbert. He's 5'10" compared to Wonder Boy's 6 foot. It's a 4-inch reach advantage for Wonder Boy. And then you look at the grappling stats. So Gilbert Burns' takedown accuracy is 35%, and Wonder Boy's takedown offense is 78%.
Tough gig. Especially when you're getting picked apart standing. And especially as you're, Gilbert is thick and strong, and that comes at a cost when you hit and miss. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've talked, how many times we've talked about the energy cost of missing when you're throwing that hard and you're muscled in that way. There's an energy cost to it. So then you're fatigued going into then not being able to get your takedowns, which you want, because that's where you're going to go good. It could be. I think it could be rough for him.
Yeah, there's landing takedowns on him is one thing. Getting close to him is the challenge here. It's gonna be a real challenge for Gilbert Burns. I mean, I'm not saying he can't do it. I think he can quite easily close Wonder Boy down if he picks his angles and chooses his moment. And maintains the threat of the takedown as well as the strikes, so he's not so one-dimensional on his attacks. Because if Wonder Boy's concerned whether he's going to be shooting for a double or throwing an overhand, you'll catch that half second where he's kind of frozen in analysis, and then you'll be able to exploit one or the other.
Or you've chosen one way and then realise and you come back and there's just that split second to land. Yeah, I thought it was good that Burns had, after that title shot, had got straight back into competition and went for that grappling comp and won. He's got that. He'd been on a winning feeling. Do you know what I mean? He'd lost it and he's jumped straight back on and got that. We talk about winning being a habit, and he's. I don't know whether he's thought about it the same as it looked like. Well, I'd assumed he thought about it like, shit, I need to compete again. I want that feeling back. I've lost a very, very emotional title fight. I want to get back on the horse and get going again.
Good way of just putting it behind him.
Yeah, I thought it was smart.
Yeah.
But I still think Wonder Boy might have him.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing. I think Wonder Boy might take this. Might be one last fantastic performance from him before we start to see him wind down. Because it's going to come eventually. He's on his way to 40.
Yeah. We see him on Karate Combat afterwards, or you reckon he's signed up till 2048 with the UFC? Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. It's normal, Wonder Boy. We sign you up for 12 years after you retire.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't compete. We don't pay you. You're just ours. We'll see. But I think Wonder Boy might be good here.
Yeah, agreed. Right, main event time.
Yeah.
15 minutes before kickoff. Raptors keep checking their watches.
Is they? That's what it is, flashing in the background.
Huh?
I've not got a watch.
He's either not got a watch or he's got one on each wrist, and they're both fluorescent. Remember when that was a thing? Fluorescent watches.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, you did. You just sidetracked pop culture, didn't you, all the way through your life?
I think I was there. I just can't remember it. I was like,
That's weird. Sedated.
yeah,
Were you
maybe.
hyperactive? Were you
I
on
was
drugs?
just doing sport all the time.
Were you?
Yeah. I did listen to the Cast album on the way here, though. Thanks to Truman, it got me back on Britpop.
I got a sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Blowing
Yeah.
in my head. Good
I
album.
tell you what, we didn't have a very successful Cage Warriors with Dino, but we smashed it with the music.
Yeah.
And we lit up the change room as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Everyone was singing along and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get the winning bit and then we're sweet.
That's all right. We'll be
Yeah,
back on
we're all
track
good.
soon. He was back in the gym on Monday. That's what we
Yeah,
wanted
it was
to
good to see him in, eh?
Yeah.
Very good to see him in.
And he seems like he's in a good place. Like he's ready to do some work now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's messaging me what he wants in.
Good.
He wants in as much as he can.
Good.
Yeah. Well, look, I know you've done a couple of products on this, haven't you? That we going out. You're going to do a War Room today or tomorrow?
I think today.
Today.
I think so.
So they'll go out ASAP. It's just the Conor effect is still about in it. Like the interest is still there. Like people are talking about it that don't normally talk to me about it, and he just is. He's done something that no one else has really managed to do. So it brings a level of interest and. Yeah, so he's good for the sport, isn't he? I know he's got some things to sort out, and I think I can't quite work out whether he will have sorted it out or not. So he's completed the game. He's completed the game, right? So 90% of the people in this sport are trying to live, and they're going to fight to earn money to live. He's done it. He's got more money than he could probably spend ever. So does that send him all the way around the circle? And now he's fighting for the art of fighting, and he wants to be the best at that. If that's where he's at, then that loss to Dustin will have done nothing but stoke the fire, and he would have gone in and he would have been with John and his coaches, and he would have picked that apart frame by frame, and they will have modified, or at least attempted to modify, how he performs, and also his mindset going into it. If that's the case, I don't know, and we'd never know. But he started out poor and hungry, and he got well fed and rich. And I just wonder whether now he's ticked that box, or whether he goes back to his I want to be the best martial artist I can be, because he's in there. We see that in there, right? I don't think he could have done the thing that everyone loved about him, which is not quite the case anymore. But that's something to do with the level that he's fighting at. Is he talked a mad load of shit, and he went in and he won. Every time he talked shit, he went in and won. And you can have, if you're going to do one, you sure as hell better do the other. Otherwise, you burn out and you don't make the money, do you?
Yeah.
So it'll just be, he fascinates me on that level. I think it's cool what he's done with the money, and he's completed that sort of section of life and stuff. But him as an athlete and a martial artist and a competitor it's fascinating.
Yeah. I wonder whether obviously he wants to be in there because he wants to be the best, because he's got everything else he needs. So why else would he be there competing? Like he's only going to lose face if he keeps getting beaten.
Yeah.
So he's taking a risk by being in there. Like if he'd have stopped after the second Nate Diaz fight, his brand would be strong, and he would be able to apply that brand to loads of other things and make them successful. Yeah. Obviously he's got the safety net of not having to worry about that anymore, but of course he's a businessman, so he wants his name to be valuable forever. So there's a risk in doing what he's doing right now. And I think that's a motivating factor. And I think if you look at the first Nate Diaz fight, he came in overconfident, tried to knock him out in the first round, it didn't work out, and he paid for it. He came in the second one, and he was lightning in that first round. He was focused, he was sharp. It was. He's still finite in his conditioning though.
Yeah.
Like he was still doing laps of the cage, looking at the clock at the end of the second round, beginning like third, fourth. He did rally a bit towards the end, but he had rough late rounds, and So I think to me that's probably the best version that we're going to see of him. I don't know how he improves on that really as far as an athlete, because I think he's built that way. I think he's built with sort of 10 or 15 kill shots, and he can spend most of them punching over people's heads if he's not careful.
And I've thought about it, like, he can access the best physiologists in the world. He can access the best sports scientists. I'm sure he has. They have the PI wouldn't be too far away from that anyway, which is free to him. On top of that, he can pretty much buy the PI if he wanted to, and just focus on him.
Absolutely buy the PI.
So, is it one of those cases where that is him? You know what? It's not like he doesn't train. It's not like he wouldn't. If you told him this is what you need to do to improve your cardio, he wouldn't do it. He would do it.
But if you went back to him when he was in Crumlin at the boxing gym, before anybody knew who he was, before he got that photo with Chuck Liddell as he was walking out at the UFC, that Conor McGregor was motivated by a multitude of things. The main one was to get out of the situation that he was in, was to have better things, to have more money. In the process of chasing after that, of course, there was the journey of being the best martial artist is there as well, is present. But how present is it now, and how present was it then? And if it was 20% of his motivation then, is that all he's got left now?
Yeah.
Because although the motivation to be there might be there, his drive every day to get out of bed and push himself like it was then when he was chasing the money and the comfort and the security, that's a different thing.
And
He's like a feral cat back then.
Is it an illusion? Do you know what I mean? Like he's got it, but then when he's got someone's shin on his throat and he's deep in the fifth round and he's fighting for his life, and he's like, I don't need this fucking shit. I want my boat. I'm going back to my boat. Like, I'm not saying that's the case at all, but that's a possibility. That's a psychological possibility. Do you know what I mean? It just depends. It depends what his root is. What's encoded on his DNA, what mindset is encoded on there. Because that's the thing about this sport. All the money in the world is, once you're inside, you're still inside. There's only two of you, and someone paid to try and keep you safe.
Yeah. He's got to chase something. He's got to be chasing something.
Yeah.
And whatever he chooses to chase, whatever it is that he's chasing, it has to be worth it enough to drive him every day, like it used to when he was chasing money and security.
Yeah.
And
you just don't know what his training looks like. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no.
we know social media is a lie. You just you don't know, do you? No. You sort of see him with his rig out, and he looks in shape, but he always looks in shape. And looking lean doesn't necessarily mean that just means your calorie balance. It doesn't necessarily mean that your cardiovascular system is in good nick or bad nick or whatever. Like it's not. It's a minor insight, but it doesn't tell you all.
I'd love to know what his technical training looks like.
Yeah,
because I would imagine that loss it's fiercely motivated him. I still don't think that fiercely motivated with 100 and something million in the bank is the same fiercely motivated as it was in Crumlin boxing gym when he had nothing.
Before that calf shuts down, he's doing all right.
Oh yeah,
he's doing all right.
Yeah,
he's landing, and mate, Dustin takes a couple of licks off him, and fair play, he just walked through him, didn't he?
He took 7 of 8 kicks in the first fight, and he took 18 of 21 in the second fight.
Wow.
You know what's really interesting though is Dustin's success rate in both fights is 52%. I'm looking at it on there, it's on UFC stats. Yeah, there were a few things that surprised me about the stats and about the comparisons between the last fight and this most recent one.
You know what I liked about I watched it yesterday. It was on in the gym in the reception yesterday when we were watching it, and Dustin absolutely to the second recognised when that calf shut down. He was playing for it, and he went, ha, got you. And he just unloaded and he finished it. Finished it in what? 20 seconds after he'd recognised that the calf was done.
Not long at all. I mean, I'll talk about it more in the War Room, and I've done obviously the BT show and stuff, but there were a couple of things that were going on. So McGregor came out with one single game plan, which was to counter Dustin's jab with his left hand, which was pretty much exactly what he did in the first fight. Now, there was a shot that landed in the first fight that most people won't have recognised as a shot that hurt Dustin.
Right.
But I've got a camera angle. I've got a camera 7 from above, and you can see the shot, and you can see his legs go, and he kind of jogs back around the fence, and he takes another shot, and then McGregor starts to slip into that finishing mode where he finds the next left hand. But Dustin was already on the way out there. He was already concussed from that first shot. Up until that point, though, Dustin was doing a good job moving laterally. He was doing a good job chopping into his legs. But in the second fight, because McGregor came out with one single game plan, Poirier only had to focus on staying away from his left hand. And then when McGregor's left hand starts to fall short, he then starts to spring into that lead right uppercut. And that's when Poirier started to counter him with his hands. Up to that point, he was just chopping into the leg.
Yeah.
But the point where Dustin backs up and points at him, what's happened is McGregor's thrown his left hand, switched to the right uppercut, and Dustin's thrown a right hook at the same time. And he's hit him on the chin and knocked him off balance, so he has to replant that leg that's already damaged. And you see his knee buckle.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Dustin takes the outside track, and he's like,
got you.
Yeah.
It's
It was
funny,
a really good performance from Dustin, and I think there's a value in him now not loving it anymore. Because he doesn't love fighting anymore. He's said that a few times. I think the fact that he gets in there just to win and do his job is more than enough to keep him even keeled against McGregor.
He's so much better. That Dustin's so much better than the angry, frustrated, raging Dustin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like miles better.
And we know he's got 5-round conditioning. That's not a question. He threw 115 punches against Max Holloway in the first round.
Yeah.
Landed 54 of them.
Yeah.
It's just crazy numbers, and that's Max Holloway who sets the pace at these fights. You then watch what happened after Max Holloway lost to Dustin, and then went on to fight Calvin Kattar, and just completely changed the game when it comes to striking. That was a standout performance from Max Holloway.
Yeah.
And that was a result of what he experienced against Poirier.
He's like he's a bit of the people's champ now, Poirier, and like everyone sort of loves him. He's hard not to love. Like Conor sort of wants to be the people's champ, but Dustin is, without even trying, he's just like he just seems like a solid dude, doesn't he? And he loves his family, he loves being at home, he loves his state or whatever. It's just like
got his charity work he does, and that didn't help either. McGregor saying he was going to donate, and that being a whole public thing, and then the money never going. And I don't know the details of it.
No,
and,
I wonder where that's at now.
Yeah, I mean, I know McGregor, they'd asked for a plan for it because obviously it was
just going to disappear. Yeah.
But
like, so Dustin obviously had like quite a clear plan, like of what he was going to do. How does he approach this now? Like, if he comes in thinking I'm going to do the same thing, he must be also thinking, well, surely Conor's going to adapt his game. Like, he's seen the damage that was caused. He's not going to come in and try and do the same thing, is he? So, like, I just don't know what. It's almost more difficult for Dustin than it is for Conor, because he can't just put the same thing out there. He's going to have at least a couple of like different variations of that plan to bring to the table.
Well, if I try and figure out the predictabilities of McGregor, because he lost predominantly by low kicks in that fight, he's going to want to turn that around on Poirier, because he's going to expect Poirier to bring that same game plan. So if McGregor's coming in, he's going to have one or two things. It's either going to be a counter to the calf kick, which could be any number of things. Probably the most likely is going to be the hop side kick, because I think he'll stand in a stance which doesn't offer the calf as much. Because if he stands slightly more side on, it turns that tibial nerve around to the front side of the calf, which makes it awkward to kick. And then anytime Dustin steps, he's got that hop side kick to the midsection or to the lead leg.
Because although the muscle damage is difficult to deal with, the nerve damage is what is switching it off.
Yeah, that's the thing that's immediate. The muscle damage is only as dangerous as above the knee. Yeah, and that's I mean it's not nice.
It's probably less conditioned in it as the IT band, but it's not the same as that switch off.
It's not the same. That's just one clean shot. Just one clean shot will do it. And it doesn't last throughout the fight, but the swelling does and the bruising does. So I think McGregor's going to have one or two things. It's either a counter or he's going to come in with his own calf kick game plan, like he did against Nate. Battered his lead leg and started setting him up for the left hand. And then after that, I mean, the thing that I think Poirier does really well, which I think could be problematic for McGregor, is that catch-all shift that he does. Because he's a natural southpaw, McGregor's a natural southpaw, but the difference between the two is that McGregor, when he's moving back, stays in a southpaw stance. Whereas Poirier is quite happy to step forward into orthodox and then into southpaw and then into orthodox, and then you're up against the fence, and then he's broadside, so you get the full arsenal of cannons because he's kind of shadowing you up against the fence like a netminder, you know what I mean? And he just keeps you there, and every angle that you go is a power shot because he's loading and stepping into it like he's throwing medicine balls. Like that's the challenge for McGregor, is to stay off the fence, especially when he gets tired. And the game plan for Poirier is quite simple. Spend the first round and a half doing whatever you can to stay away from his left hand and making him tired. And that
make him throw it.
Literally make him throw. Make him like walk, laterally move, stay defensive, but allow him to throw his hands if he wants to, because there's going to be a limit to how many times he can do it before he's gassed. Wrestle him if you can, clinch him if you can, beat up his legs, attack his body. And just generally be difficult for the first sort of 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's quite balancing that clinch up against the fence. Like they both had their way a little bit, but it's probably irrelevant. Is probably playing into Dustin's hands anyway, because at least he's expending energy, even if it comes out neutral and a couple of scores for each. But that's now in Conor. Do you know what I mean? That power bar is now at 80%.
But Poirier can get tired. And he does get tired, and he works through being tired. And sometimes he has a really horrible first, second round, but he still works his way through it and gets the victory. I think he's got more staying power. I think he's more consistent, and I think his volume and his conditioning carries him through. And we were just chatting about it before we started recording. I think if they fought 10 times, Dustin probably wins 6 or 7. Right. I think it's competitive, but I think Dustin wins 6 or 7. But I still think McGregor's going to win this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why I think that. And usually my logical head's going, well, no, 60, 70% is good stats. I think Poirier is going to get him tired and wear him down and beat him up against the fence and either stop him or choke him, like get McGregor to level change into a Darce because he doesn't want to get knocked out again. And I can quite easily see him wrapping up that Darce choke from a sprawl and choking McGregor, especially when his heart's already beaten and he's tired. But there's something. Maybe I'm just buying into the McGregor hype, but I don't normally. Yeah. And I've just got a feeling this time around, especially because I know he's the faster fighter, and I know he's the harder hitter, and I know he's a more technical fighter as well when it comes to the striking range. Like Poirier makes all kinds of mistakes, but he gets away with it because he's tough and he's durable and he closes range down and he throws volume. Like when he was backing Gaethje up against the fence. He hit him with a knee, and then I think it was a knee and then an elbow, and then he went 1, 2, punch, 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 and then just to keep him moving back.
Yeah,
like McGregor can't do that. It's and the other thing that we saw with Poirier in the second fight is that once McGregor had thrown 2 or 3 punches, Poirier would just chase him back into the center because McGregor's shots don't extend 4 or 5 punches into combinations. So once you've seen the first, second, and third come out, he's going to stop to take a break. Yeah. So you just rush him. That's what he was doing. Right. Step through, catch him, shift.
I haven't even sort of thought about him getting subbed. I know obviously he got subbed by Diaz, but just in this fight, I hadn't even thought about that as a possible outcome. But yeah,
I could see Poirier dancing him.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a turn up, that, wouldn't it? Yeah, right.
But as I said, I think McGregor's going to win. And I don't exactly know why.
Yeah.
I think he's got 7 minutes to make a left hand stick. And I think he comes in with... I think he lost the last fight because he wasn't very smart. And I don't think he makes that same mistake twice. I think he did that against Nate.
Yeah. Because I don't feel him or his camp are not smart, do you? Do you know what I mean? Like they've got brain space at their disposal, and they're not going to ignore some problems in that fight.
And he's going to be fit for at least a round and a bit.
Yeah. It'd be interesting talking to like a world-renowned physiologist about, is it possible to get someone that is as twitchy and as elastic as him to be able to compete for 25 minutes? I don't know. It's above my
I think even his feints must be physically taxing.
But I suppose they have to be right
loud cars
to
that
be
make
like
loads of noise when people rev them at the traffic lights. I think it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? It's just...
But that's what you want, right? You want it to be as close as the punch as it can be without throwing the punch.
Yeah. You want to be able to knock somebody out with the first punch that you throw, but you've also got to bear in mind that you might throw 50 punches and the person might still be there. So then you've got to decide when you're going to throw those punches and how you're going to apply them. And when he's applying them behind an arsenal of spinning kicks and good feints, he usually lands it.
Yeah.
But when he comes out and he just stands heavy on that lead leg, like throw your jab and let me knock you out quick, that's when it starts to fall on its ass. And I don't think he's stupid enough to do that twice. There was loads of people talking about after the last fight about he's abandoned all of his kicking game and he's just a boxer now. And I'm like, just because they were the tools that he took to the fight, it doesn't mean that he's forgotten everything else that he's done. He's not that guy.
Yeah,
like he's still, all of those techniques that we've ever seen him throw in his game, he's got all of those in his arsenal. Even that lovely, guard pass that he used against Dennis Seaweed to take Mount, that's all still there in his arsenal. He got taken down super fast against Dustin Poirier, 30 seconds in, and he fought Khabib's first takedown for 45 seconds. Poirier took him down straight away. Doesn't mean he's not getting any takedown offense anymore.
Yeah,
just means Poirier caught him by surprise. It shows you how single-minded he was. I'm going to knock him out with this left hand because he's going to throw his jab and he can't take my punch. Was his only game plan coming in?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good for the story and it's good for the sport for him to win because it keeps him. I mean, it's hard to say Conor's ever not relevant. You know what I mean? Because he can sort of he sort of has his way with the company, doesn't he?
He still fights. Even if he loses this one, there's still the trilogy match with Nate at whatever weight they choose.
That's like the Joker in the back pocket, and no matter what happens, he can always go, I'll do the trilogy now.
I could see him in there with someone like Tony Ferguson still.
Yeah.
This fight's there for him if he still wants to fight. The difference is if McGregor loses, the heavy hitter weight doesn't transfer to Dustin Poirier's name. It just stays with McGregor and diminishes. That's one of the reasons why it'd be good for McGregor to win, because it does kind of carry the sport with him, and Poirier doesn't have that same kind of hitting power, both publicly or competitively.
Yeah. Cool. I think. I hope Conor comes through.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah.
Your prediction is, I hope Conor comes through.
My prediction is I'm going to throw some hope at this
and see what happens. Anticlimax for you guys listening at home. Well, I guess my conclusion after all of this 40-minute conversation is, I hope he wins.
Yeah, well, they pick on the opposite of whatever I say anyway, so it looks like Dustin's going to get some money put on him, which is very smart, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's the smarter money, but we all get wrapped up in McGregor hype. It's this star power, but even if he was on a team, he'd be star player.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's not like fanboy hype though. It's like I like him as a fighter. Do you know what I mean? It's not like
it's not fanboy hype.
I suppose it's the same shit.
It's not fanboy hype. I just really hope he wins.
I just have
because Sunday. I
just have his poster on my wall and shit. But I'm not a fanboy. No. But I just like he's done stuff for this sport that we could never imagine of.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. He did punch your granddad in a pub, but I suppose it's a bit off, really, isn't it? Never mind. Anyway.
But he did buy the pub now and ban him, so it's problem solved.
Is that really what he's done?
Yeah, I think he did, yeah. But then he has also sponsored the Irish amateur team, so, swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're on the lookout for a English millionaire to sponsor our team. Don't want to be outdone here.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Unbound Merino competition. There is 10 $100 gift cards to win. So jump on the link below and get involved.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time. Yeah.
Enjoy the fights.